gotten some questions over the past couple of days that are concerning. Okay, this is more of like a female anatomy thing, so guys, if you don't care, just like tune out. Cool. So number one, this was brought to my attention when I was on my period earlier, and somebody gave me a scented pad. Don't do that. Unless, of course, you love the sensation of a yeast infection. I mean, like, in which case, go ahead. Any sort of scented product that goes down yonder, skip it. Don't. Speaking of yeast infections, for y'all, at least with, like, a vagina, like, if you have an issue, it's not, like, always a yeast infection. There's this thing called bacterial vaginosis, or BV for short, which mimics the symptoms of a yeast infection a lot, except for there's differences in discharge, which you can, like, Google. I'm not going to talk about them. My point is, you should most likely go to a doctor if you think you have a yeast infection, but you're not sure, because if you try to use yeast infection medications and you have BV, it's gonna burn so bad, you have to go to the hospital. Yeah, so check with your doctor first, because otherwise you might get in a situation. And speaking of situations that you could be in, don't put yogurt in your vagina. Don't. No matter how nature healthy you are. I wasn't even, like, aware that was a thing until I saw it on, like, one of those, you know, like, health websites where they're like, GMO fruit doesn't have electricity, you know, that kind of bullshit. If you're thinking about, like, natural remedies, that's when you can, like, skip. And, like, some natural remedies do work. That's not one of them. So if you want to naturally cure a yeast infection, drink more water, eat less sugar, that kind of thing. And in general, if you're sick, drink more water, eat less sugar, because it depresses your immune system. Okay, getting a little more into the range of, like, sex ed. If you're on the birth control pill and you're on one with a placebo week and you decide to skip your placebo week and move straight to the other pack, like, in order to skip your period, some people try to be like, oh, that's unnatural, that's unhealthy, you shouldn't do that, it's bad for your body, it's not good for you, blah, blah, blah. Don't listen to them. Like, it's completely fine. Doctors say it's okay. It's recommended in some cases, okay? And if you feel like it would be more beneficial to you, and it would suit your schedule better to only, you know, expel blood in chunks, you know, once every 2 or 3 months instead of every month, great. More power to you. I do it too. Another fun fact about the pill, if you're on the one with both estrogen and progesterone or synthetic equivalents, 4 or 5 of those is roughly the same as a Plan B pill. Don't do that if you can access Plan B, because Plan B definitely works better. So this is like a last resort, but if you have to do that, it is a resource available to you. Another fun fact, courtesy of my conversation with Megan and Olivia at Jake's birthday party, is that the clitoris has more nerve endings than, like, the whole penis. So, you know that now, too. I feel like, honestly, most people know condom stuff, but, like, just some, like, helpful tips. Don't use 2 at a time. Try them on beforehand to, like, make sure they're not gonna slip off, because that's a thing that happens. And if you're gonna use lube, use a kind that's, like, compatible with the type of condom you're using, because otherwise they can break down. Back to, like, vaginal hygiene. Don't douche. Ever. Don't do it. It's bad for you. Also, blanket statement. Anything that's, like, meant, apparently produced to go inside your vagina, even if it's like, this will reset your pH, is fake. Don't put it in there. A lot of stuff like that has been around recently, and, like, you shouldn't use it. If anything, like, says to, like, put it up there, don't, because the only things intended to go up there are, like, tampons and, like, you know. Okay, as far as STIs go, get tested, all of you. If you've had any kind of sexual encounter, get tested. And there are seriously no exceptions to that. It's really easy to do. I've done it. Like, your pediatrician usually can do it. It's often covered by insurance, so your parents don't even have to see it. And if they do, you can tell your pediatrician, like, hey, keep this on the DL, and they can show your parents this thing that recommends kids upwards of, like, 12 get routinely tested. So, like, you're good. If for like whatever reason you can't get tested by your doctor, you can go to Planned Parenthood. They test men and women, and it's totally anonymous. And if you have any trouble affording stuff, they have like financial aid programs for all that kind of stuff. So, and then like in any of those cases from like anybody, they will call you directly to whatever number you give them. Like even if it's at your pediatrician, you can be like, hey, call me instead of my parents, and they will. So it's there's rules, there's HIPAA. They're not like allowed to disclose stuff unless you're like gonna kill yourself. That's kind of the only exception. So you're safe. Your stuff is safe. Stay safe. Get tested. As far as like prevention, the only correct thing you ever learn in Catholic school, so like I said, is abstinence is the only 100% effective form of pregnancy prevention. But if you want to like get pretty close, the IUD, especially the hormonal one, has like a 99.6% success rate. So that's a good one. The pill, if you take it correctly, is like 98% successful. And then if you pair either of those with a condom, which is 92%, if you use them right, please go watch a video, even if you're fairly sure. You're pretty good. So, good night. Stay safe, kids.